Well, I threw my axe at Helia, and since we're kind of going after Helia, it'd be nice if we could find my axe.
3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back to Server Restart In, your weekly World of Warcraft podcast with your three favorite opinionated players.
Oh, God.
Who get together weekly to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I'm joined by Kristen.
Hi.
And Brian.
Hello.
And this week, Thrall has come into his own.
What?
You haven't done this yet.
I know.
When you haven't. Oh my god!
Oh my
god! Spoiler alert! So
No, I know about it, but I haven't done it yet.
So
I don't know.
You do your thing where you get your anima and you get your renown. You do the other thing where you suppress the jailer's forces. You get your renown, and then you get another quest from the Primus, and you go off with Thrall and Drakka to Desmatera or whatever, that Maw zone, because you're going to go assault it to do some stuff. And the first fucking quest you get from Thrall is to find his fucking axe.
Oh my God, the axe.
The axe
really?
threw. Yes, the axe he threw in Helia's face. That is the most important thing. You get two quests from Drakka, and then he's like, well, I threw my axe at Helia, and since we're kind of going after Helia, it'd be nice if we could find my axe, because it was kind of important, because I made it when I lived in Draenor with my family, and
Really? Come on.
it's real easy to get, and then you get it, and then Drakka's like, oh, the name of the axe means blah, 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 and he's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, talking to him, she's like, oh, you wear Doomhammer's armor, and he's like, yes, he was a friend of mine, and he gave it to me. It's just all this stuff, and at the end, you go through the stuff, you put up a couple of death gates to bring in some forces, you kill a bunch of the flying dudes to clear the air out, it summons in the Necrolord, Necropolis, and then you get to do a little, shoot the guys with the Necropolis thing, and then you go and you free some of the Forsworn. So you run it. You remember the guy that became Forsworn that was talking to Uther in the very beginning? Nicholas or whatever his name was?
No, it wasn't Nicholas. It was
something. Nikos.
Nikos.
It was something like that. And he turns into a Forsworn and he leaves because you're trying to help him because he's talking to. It's like one of the first quests you fucking do when you first run into Uther. Well, you find him, he's like, oh my god, they're trying to turn us into bad guys, and that's not what we really want. Help save the people that want to leave. So you help save a bunch of them, kill a bunch of stuff, and then you end up fighting Baron Vraz, the guy that betrayed the House of the Chosen, while Helia's sitting there trying to give him a little boon and all that stuff, and you beat him, and then she's like, you can't capture me, blah, 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 and the Primus just goes and captures her, or locks her up or whatever. And then you guys leave, and Drakka's like, I know who you are, Goel, and all that stuff. He's like, what? You knew this whole time? And she's like, you don't think I would have recognized Duratar's eyes? Yeah, whatever. So she knew that it was her son.
Did he know that was...
Well, he knows Drakka's his mother, because he met alternate universe Drakka, right? He knows his mother's name from Ogrim. Ogrim gave him all the lowdown about who his father was and who his mother was and how they defied.
Oh, originally, he didn't know.
I don't know if he had met her.
So if he was a baby at that point, of course he wouldn't have known, right?
He didn't meet her, but he knew of her. He knew her name. He knew his lineage because Doomhammer told him. In the internment camps and all that stuff, way back before World of Warcraft. So he was aware of who Drakka and
So
Dirty
he would immediately would have figured it out. Like,
yeah, he knew that it
when he
was
got
Drakka and that was his mom. And that's not to be confused with Drakka. That's the
alternate
the quest giver orc. That's just Drka in Ashenvale. But that's a different story. There's another orc named Drakka.
There is?
Well, with just 1K. Yeah, she's the one in Ashenvale. I think after the Cataclysm, you could ride with her on the Thunder Lizard or on the Kodo and do a bunch of stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so, you had to, I think you had to find flowers to make a necklace to give to her for the other orc or something like that. But, yes, yeah, that's the point. So, after that, great, you get, your renown and all that stuff. But then, if you're a Necrolord, you get another quest. And the Primus is like, come back to the seat of the Primus. We're going to do a special ceremony. And he names Drakka the Margrave of House of Chosen.
Oh.
So she got a promo out of it.
Okay.
Cool. So, I don't know. Because I went through it on my shaman who's Revendreth. And I didn't get that quest. So, I kind of figured it was Necrolord only. Since it was at the Covenant Hall and all that stuff. So that was kind of interesting. Lady Vash is just still kind of PO'd at her for leaving the House of Eyes and, just being a pissy naga. But the thing that just struck me the most about it was that fucking quest for that fucking axe. It's and we've talked about how stupid he was to throw that so many times.
It was more about how picky he was when he was trying to select another one.
I guess if you think about,
this won't work. This won't work. This won't work. Well, you know what? You shouldn't have thrown your fucking axe, you dick.
Oh, so when he shows up, though, he is decked out in Ogrim Doomhammer's armor, and he looks fucking badass. Because he's not... Because you know how when he came back, they updated his models to where he's, all orked out? He's not, normal, just I'm a big, ripped human orc. But he got
he doesn't like Cataclysm. He doesn't have the anal beads around his neck or anything anymore.
Yeah, the shaved head. He's not like Monk anymore.
Monk,
yeah. But he's full barrel-chested, broad-shouldered orc, and with that fucking armor on, he looks badass.
He always did.
Yeah, but just seeing him in that armor again, it was just okay, this is pretty cool. And so it was a little bit of story. It was kind of nice. Yeah. I don't know. That was kind of really all I've done. Oh, I did the Assault that was out, which was Revendreth again, but the quests were different. So I thought that was
They were.
I thought that was very nice that the Assault aren't going to just be the same quests every time.
You're still capturing, for Revendreth, you're still capturing the Tremilicum or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's still in the same area, but you do the four initial quests that you have to do before you do, because the end was the same, where you turn the light mirrors on the fire Terragru and all that stuff. But the fact that the initial quests for that were different, I thought was really good, because I like that, because then it wasn't just rehashing the same shit. Let's see. The raid.
Did you guys finally watch the
No.
Sylvanas?
Nope.
No.
I'd say at this point, I would just give it time and let if we don't make it in normal, let the LFR open up and. Yeah. Well, is it every week the LFR opens up, or is it every 2 weeks?
Every 2, I think.
Because I know the first wing's out, so. That's another thing, too, as I think there's a couple of guilds in the Mythic race that are already 8 out of 10. I think they just have Kel'Thuzad and Sylvanas left.
Well, today's what, Friday?
Yeah, it's only been 4 days.
Well, usually the last couple ones are a little more difficult.
I know. I just didn't. I haven't been paying attention to it, and I was looking to see if anybody had sent us a tweet, which nobody has. And it just popped up in the feed like, oh, limits just hit 8 out of 10, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice.
I watched a little bit of it earlier when they were doing I don't remember which boss it is, but it's the one where it has the rolly spike balls and stuff. It's got a lot of like interesting move out of the way mechanics, and I sat and watched that for a while.
Yeah,
I did run the second and third boss in LFR earlier today.
Oh yeah, how did it seem? What were they? Who were they?
Second boss is the Eye of the Jailer, and 60% of the raid wiped, and the rest of the raid finished it. So if that tells you anything.
I mean, I'll be honest, I miss stuff like that where I absolutely despise the berserk timers that they have in there.
Do you remember?
Yeah, in this case though, it was gruesome trying to wait. You know what I mean? Like in LFR, there's just, since you're not talking, you're not coordinated or anything, and there's just kind of a almost a tank and spank. Like you get really, impatient waiting for the boss to die because it's so mindless.
Yeah,
that was the bad part about it.
Do you remember when we were doing Uldir, and it was the blood boss thing, and we took us like 11 minutes to kill it because most of the people died.
Oh
but
yeah,
I was blood tanking.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious.
And we had like 2 lusts in there and all that stuff.
Yep.
That was a long ass fight, but we killed it.
It was a very long fight.
It was fun.
We killed it. It was fun, and yeah, we did. We got 2 lusts. That was hilarious.
Well, and then there was the other one where we were running with the other guild and we were doing heroic, and we were doing the monk and the mage in Battle for Dazar Lore.
Oh yeah, I hated
like the
that
5th
fight.
boss. Well, the other tank, either somebody pulled or he DC'd right away, or he went AFK and it got pulled. So I solo tanked it for almost the entire fight
until he came back. Yeah,
he came back at the very end, which was good. But that was interesting too. It was just like, I felt pretty good about that.
That was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty cool. Definitely.
Well, so I missed the first boss. The first boss is the Terragru, and it sits outside of
the Sanctum.
The Sanctum. You basically, it's pretty much like what's his nuts at the beginning of Ny'alotha.
Rathian.
Yeah, and then like you defeat him, and then you go in, and then the Eye of the Jailer is first. Eye of the Jailer has many Eye of the Jailers, and they swarm around him, and then
kind of like when you fight him in the quest line, because when you fight the quest line, he's got a bunch of them around. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if they come off of him eventually, but I don't remember if you have to gun them down or not. I don't recall that part. I wasn't paying attention enough. But
you mean in the raid?
The neat mechanic, or a few neat mechanics, is that one, he sits off the side of the for the lack of a better word, porch, deck, whatever.
The patio.
The patio, yeah, right outside, on the outsides of it. So if you can imagine ICC, where you take the ship up to the top and you kind of run around the Citadel, it's kind of got that, it's pretty badass. Actually, the beginning, I zoned in as soon as they killed the Terragru, and I looked straight up, and it's stacked upon stacked upon stacked actual model tower. It's pretty damn tall. You can't even see kind of where it peaks inward or anything. So, but once you get up to, you go in, you go around, you go back out, kind of on. So you can imagine like a north, south, east, west. You're basically just kind of scooting to that first quarter, and he's kind of hanging out there off the side once you clear some trash or something like that, and then basically there's like, it's a U shape, and you start, and there's a wall down here, right? So if you can imagine like a U shape wall at the bottom, you start on like the apex of the U. He comes out, you battle him pretty much in there, but on the tips of the U, like where the platforms come out, there is a clicking mechanic where you chain over. So what he does a sweeping. So if the U is set like this and he's pointing this way, his eye blast will do a sweeping thing like that, and you have to go out, hit the ability button to chain over to the other platform that's sticking out, come back around. It's I mean, it's not that impressive, but it was a little bit different.
The way you described it was impressive.
For an early entry boss, it seemed like a decent little fight. The good thing here is, like, I think that all of the early entry bosses are probably going to be much easier than probably like what the Huntsman was in Castle Nathria.
Yeah.
When you compare difficulty level, like first boss was a YOLO, second boss is one we kind of had to work on timing. I think it's probably it's probably a little bit more linear in difficulty going to the third boss. Third boss is just I think they call it the 9 or something like that, but basically it's the are
they Venthyr?
No, they're the fallen, whatever the fallen Valkyrie. Valkyrie. Yeah. There's 3 primary ones. And now I don't know what the actual mechanics are for having, because there's 2 up at a time and there's the last one. But then like the rest of them kind of they zip through with lines like Denathrius did. Mm-hmm. That mechanic is there again. And you kind of just got to step out of the way of it. And it looks like the first 2 have to go down kind of roughly at the same time. I didn't tell whether or not there was something going on there, but then we killed off the third one and that was it. So yeah, I mean, I didn't get any loot, but for the first 3 bosses, it seems all right. And the aesthetic is pretty banging.
Is it like ICC on steroids?
Yeah, it's got that ICC backdrop color that's tinted orange. You know what I mean?
Right.
That blend of the sky. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like if that wasn't there, it'd be a little bit better. Just because I'm so, with regards to the mall and everything else, I'm just tired of that. That tint of color or something. It annoys me because the architecture, the modeling, everything looks really cool.
You just don't like the lighting?
Yeah, it's like once we get into the building, like let's get out of the mall shading, right? Turn some lights on or something. I don't know. Stop using lava. Why do you have lava here? Why is there lava in the Shadowlands? Like what? Why is there water in the Shadowlands? Why are there fish in the Shadowlands?
Where do you think dead lava goes?
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, there are plenty of fish in the Shadowlands, let me tell you.
I thought she was going to say the sea.
So lava...
There's plenty of fish in the Dead Sea.
So dead lava... That's not hilarious at all. Dead lava is pretty much like... Dead lava is the heartburn for the Arbiter, right? And she shits it to them all, right? Is that what the dead lava is then?
Yes.
Heartburn, Arbiter heartburn. All right, cool. Well, yeah. So that was the highlight of my life this week. I was gonna try to push for some Tazavish, but
this week
just
was
like
kind of rough.
Yeah, well, that's what I don't know. It's a long enough dungeon, and it's funny because one of the things that went back and read was the hard mode, like. Something about you have to complete hard mode in one run or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be worth sitting down and dedicating a few hours to just to
that's just it. It's
see what it's all about.
I think even a normal run would probably, because I want to say the first time I ran Mechagon, it was a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, just because the bosses were tuned fairly high, you know what I mean? It's like you had to be extremely careful. And I would imagine that this would be something
Very similar.
Something very similar. Yeah, like you're not going to go in and blow through it in like 20 minutes, and even if it's double the amount of a normal mythic, 40 minutes, right? I wouldn't see it being less than an hour and a half, 2 hours long just to go in and just kind of get a feel for it because it's all new.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can go in and do a normal run and kind of learn the mechanics slowly kind of thing, and I mean, at least not yet. You'll be able to do heroics once they split it up into the two wings for the mythic keys. But for right now, there's not a thing for that.
Can I add one thing back to the conversation of Sanctum of Domination?
Yes. I mean, no.
Bolvar, on the third fight, Sylvanas is there. She turns around. She's like, "Oh, you think you can defeat us? You're wrong." And then Bolvar's like, "They'll get you," or how the fuck he talks.
My pretty.
I'll
get you.
my pretty. And your
Sylvanas. And then she chains him up.
Yeah.
She fucking chains him up.
I mean,
this guy cannot get away from getting screwed. Like, he is not badass at all.
Poor dude.
Which is crazy because
this dude this is called the Sanctum of Domination, and this dude's straight up getting dominated every fucking corner in this entire experience.
Enjoy your domination, dude.
Oh, I look really badass, but I can't do shit.
I'll be there. I'll be like, me next.
Oh my god.
I mean, the dialogue is neat. She says something about the crownless king or crownless something, throneless. I don't know, something like that. And then she magically disappears and the fight starts. So
she's magically delicious.
Is she?
But seeing now, I will say the four horsemen are there though. It's Bolvar, and you got a portal on this side and a portal on that side, and Dos Equis horsemen.
Those DKs.
Dos DKs on both sides. Pretty cool. It's pretty badass.
I like that. I like the four horsemen. They're fun.
Yeah. But the whole chaining Bolvar up, dude, I just wish at some point this dude would rip out that big ass mace, fucking spin it around in some brand new, out of his ass, Lich King style armor, pretty much like what Zorval did when he pieced out.
No,
right?
Fuck that.
He snapped, and he just transformed. Like, hey.
So here's the thing, right? He was the Lich King only because he had the helm, right?
I know. I get it.
No, I'm not trying to say, oh, whatever. But what is he now, right? He's not dead because the breath of Alexstrasza kept him alive in that weird I'm on fire
he looks
forever.
Painful. He looks painful.
Right.
Yeah,
but he was a paladin, right? Yes, because when you go into Icecrown, the paladin still lives.
Yeah.
It's just sure, he was the Lich King for 10 years or however long it was, but I mean, he's no longer the Lich King. Maybe he should have some paladin powers again.
Well, maybe that means that he's bound to the light enough that he was. So for one, maybe he was bound to the light enough where he could prevent the
helm from taking him over.
The helm, yeah, right. The helm from telling him everything of what to do, and then, in this case, it really does seem like they're probably setting him up for a Khadgar move. You know what I mean? Like
he's gonna turn into a raven and fly away.
Not front and center, but he's gonna get his own orb with his head floating around at some point too. So
is that because we're gonna knock it off with that hammer?
It's frustrating because he, in the beginning, the cinematic in the beginning of Shadowlands and stuff like that. Gosh, the dude is so badass. The character's badass.
He was badass when he had the Helm of Domination, but once that was shattered, he was depowered. Now he's just some walking cinder block carrying a hammer that's on fire and hasn't done jack shit.
Dang.
It'd be interesting.
He
It'd
hasn't.
be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see though, because you have to think about what the fuck does Sylvanas have that gives her extra power?
I mean, so she's probably just received it from the jailer.
Hmm?
But
So who's to say that he still doesn't have some of that extra?
sure, maybe he does, but he's not using it. And he did tell us to take the sigil of the Primus into the fucking rune carver, into Torghast. So maybe this whole time he's still being controlled.
Maybe he's been working
that
for the
would be
jailer.
hilarious.
What
Oh
what
my
if
God.
what if he is still under the thrall, just hit the mic, unknowingly?
Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy at some point when he's just like, he whips out a new helm, shoves it on, and then you have to fight him straight up, like right there. Like the whole time he's just doing everything. He's moving all these pieces, right?
I mean, because
Like the four horsemen were right the entire time.
think
in the
about it.
book.
Think about it. This is conspiracy corner, right? So it's conspiracy corner. Yay! We haven't done that in
Yay.
whatever.
Conspiracy corner.
Yeah. What's that? Think about it, right? So, peer into the maw and look at what's going on, so you can find that. Okay, it's dangerous. I got some little visions, just enough to tell you where they're at. I can't do it anymore. They're gonna find me, and it's just like leading us along this whole time, just fucking leading us around by the fucking nose, man. Just going, I
go find Jaina so you don't find Anduin. I mean, go rescue your friends.
and it's just like, well, not only that, but like, I can't find Anduin. Like, maybe he's here. You found his helm and his compass or whatever. Yeah, okay.
Wait, no. Move him behind that wall. I can see that. Okay, yeah, I can see him now. Okay, yeah, I can't find him. Oh, God.
but think about it, and then it's like, I recognize this magic. It's similar to the memories you have from the rune carver. Maybe you should take this there to see if he can help you unravel this mystery around this sigil.
Oh my God.
I mean,
whoa, hold on just a second. We talked about this other thing too. Jaina ported straight the fuck out of Torghast.
Yeah.
well, she also did tell us specifically, I can use you as a conduit to find the thing. She explicitly said
Right.
how she did it.
He's lying. It's false.
She's
What
lying.
if they're all false? What if none of them are real?
What if none of this is real?
Although I figured
Look,
Drakka,
everybody's the enemy and Zorwal is the savior.
Yeah.
Zorval's
Can we
our
choose
blue
sides?
Jesus.
He's the
No.
blue transformer Jesus.
Yeah. Your sins are forgiven.
With a blown out chest still.
He's got an arc reactor in there now. He's Iron Man.
That thing's a little unstable though. It's not fully in there, I don't think.
Okay, well then maybe he's more like the other one. Whoever the bad guy was in Iron Man 2.
It is funny though because talking about that, when he absorbs the sigil from the Arbiter, the way the cinematic is presented, and I think that there's some people online that have already talked about this, but basically the way he accepts it literally shows you okay, the hole in his chest means that he probably was something of that nature, or powerful enough that they had to rip it out of him and create that construct.
That doesn't make sense. Because what of the Arbiter? Arbiter has always had that hole.
What?
The Arbiter
Yeah.
has a hole in her chest. Has always had the hole in her chest.
Right. What I'm saying is that she seemed, the way that she dissipates during that makes it seem like she's a construct of some sort, not an actual thing.
Oh, so you think the Arbiter is not like a being like the Winter Queen?
Just a shitty running program.
You think she's maybe one of the attendants or whatever, where there's just this weird ethereal creatures or something?
I don't. I think that she's straight up just a construct of something. Whether or not they created her or somebody else that we don't know yet created her, I don't know, but it really does seem like the way that she dissipates at the end of that cinematic.
Oh,
The way that you barely see it, but she withers away, right? Nobody else withered away. You know what I mean? When the sigil was absorbed from them, so there's something, obviously completely different about her versus them, regardless of her role or its role, whatever it is. But the way it's presented in cinematic, and it goes back to him, and it shows his, holy chest, and then his armor again exposes that something blew out of his fucking chest, like a sigil. Seems to be that he has some form of association with the way that the Shadowlands was originally constructed. And at that point, like, if you think about it that way, if he's the head, if he, given the situation, like if we're in conspiracy corner already, might as well say, if he was like the Arbiter at some point, and he already recognized something was amiss, you know what I mean? And
do you think he was the original Arbiter?
I don't know. I mean, I'm spitballing here. I'm not really like.
No, that's
so. I think so. One of the other podcasts mentioned that they think he's just the other. He has another covenant, like he was the head of another covenant somewhere, and it has a lot to do with something about time, which gives way to what his portal looked like to wherever he's going, and blah blah blah. But again, I don't really know what that means. I guess in his case, if he was wearing armor at some point and something was ripped out of him, I guess it could have been a sigil. I don't know. Like, the only reason I say the Arbiter is because the Arbiter has a more substantial sigil. At least that's what it looks like. Versus the other ones that were just like a little icon that floats out. Like the Arbiter straight up had like a freaking first one's orb thingy. So yeah, it's I don't know. I mean that's just spitballing. I mean, I guess it may it only makes sense from the sigil ball perspective, right? If the only thing they could do was rip that out of him and take his power and then throw him in hell, then maybe that's what that is. Or maybe not at all. Maybe they just shot him with a big ass gun or something and from the back. I don't know. Or maybe he's got a big heart and it's just exploding with love.
He's like the Grinch. His heart grew 3 sizes, but it exploded out because it grew too big.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. It'd be because we're still waiting to see Arthas. We're still waiting because he's got to be around somewhere. They dumped his ass in the fucking maw, and I mean he can't just be gone.
I'd be willing to say that he probably is just gone at this point. If we don't see him throughout, like Big G is in there, right?
Yeah, Garrosh.
Yeah. And it's not a redemption story. It's just a straight up like, don't worry about this guy anymore. It's literally like, okay, we put him in the cinematic. Damn it. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap that up before it becomes an issue.
Yeah. I heard basically he's just like, I don't give a fuck. I'd do it again. Everything he did. He's like, I don't care. I would do it again. Like somebody made a thing and there's it's like him sitting there and he goes, hey, Zorval. And the jailer looks at him and he goes, bitch. Because he just doesn't give a shit.
What's funny though? The in-game, it's not even, I wouldn't call it cinematic. It wasn't that. It's straight up like super in-game models at the end of that fight when he jumps down and he says, fuck you, I'll do it again, bitch, and explodes himself, and that's the end of him. It was gross looking. Like it was done badly.
Oh,
like
are we back to these stupid in-game cinematics are horrible?
Well, it's not that though. It's that. Well, it is kind of the animation where they're like flapping their jaws, like
but that's kind of been that way.
No, it's not that bad. It's not always been that bad. Shut up, Jim. Shut up. Anyways, somebody already recreated that cinematic and did it much better. Holy crap, they did much better. So yeah, that was kind of cool. That's out there. I think it's on Wildhead and some other sites, but it looks really cool.
What the hell is going on? What the fuck is wrong with their in-game cinematic team? It's just like They have.
I will say that if you watch the Garrosh one, there's something off about it. I felt bad watching it at a certain point just because like, and I know like their voices don't match up with the animations, and that's intended, right? They're not trying to match the voices up like Jaina. That's what her mouth looks like making noise, but she's actually talking. And that's been that way. I remember like BFA, a lot of that
was similar to that, and it saves them a lot of
Legion
stuff too.
wasn't that bad, but it still was like I do remember Ilan doing his whole rah 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 rah. You know, like his mouth moving much. But
I almost wonder if they took the fucking if those in-game cinematics, if they're just using like the fucking talking head models for it that show up.
I'm sure they are.
But
yeah, I'm sure they are.
No, but like the models that are meant to be in little boxes.
Yeah, no. Like you're talking about like how crazy it was in Warcraft 3 when they were sitting there in the bottom of the screen, or like.
Well, no, like the current ones that they have in the game.
Everybody's gonna be listening to me going blah 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 blah.
Well, that's
you gotta subscribe to Twitch to see the live. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that.
Oh my god, anyways. No, we don't do that.
We could if Jim did.
That's true.
We could, but I don't think we're going to.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's just, I don't mean to sit and just straight up complain about it. I mean, I played WoW this week more than I have in the past like 3 weeks. So,
not me.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying a little bit of it. I'm not delighted with it, but just watching that one,
yeah,
like,
I agree.
He's going out with a bang. At least give him a little bit of attention, you know, like. Because he is a badass character, whether you hate him or not. Like, I think I don't want to get into it, but I think his story could have been better. Like, he could have been the on-edge
He could have
horde.
been a contender.
You know what I mean? He could have been the on-edge horde leader that stuck around, like, and always did stuff like, oh no, Garrosh is at it again. You know, not like evil Garrosh, like straight up like, oh, Garrosh went in and murdered everybody again. Wah, wah,
Shocker.
Do you think Garrosh would have burned the tree down?
Yes.
In a fucking heartbeat. He wouldn't have been. Garrosh would not have waited.
He would have just done it. Yeah.
No, so what was it? So consider what was the build up to that moment, right?
She was like
what made us.
Go ahead.
No. What made us get to the Dark Shore to do all that stuff? What was the catalyst for the war front that led up to the burning of Drusilla, the little shadow of Drusilla?
So we were pushing up to try and take over Teldrassil to force the Alliance's hand into either a feint to draw them away from a certain area, or they were drawn to another area and we were going to take it over and use it as a bargaining chip. You know, basically kidnap the king's daughter and hold her for ransom and get whatever the fuck you want, kind of thing, right? It was meant.
So there's a lot of that though, because when you consider where we were in the world, right, where a lot of the stuff was going on, to get to Darkshore from there. You know what I mean? With like, because the other one was Arathi. Like, how do we wind up in Arathi at that point? I'm asking because I don't remember. I don't really remember like how we wound up in those locations. Because you know what I mean? Because
Well, I think it's because we were at war and they were trying to rebuild older strongholds, and I think maybe what it was the dwarves and them were trying to rebuild that keep there as a Stromguard. Stromguard keep, because it's between Hillsbrad and what is that fucking Murkwater or wherever Theramore is? Is that the other one?
Wetlands.
Yeah, is it by Wetlands? So see, with the loss of Theramore, they had lost a.
Oh, yeah. So there's really nothing else between Hillsbrad and Ironforge at that point, other than
the Dwarven
areas.
Ironforge isn't on that. Ironforge is on the same continent as Stormwind. This is on the one with Undercity. It's on the way to Stranglethorn Vale. No, it's not.
No, the Ironforge is literally the mountain that overlooks Theramore. No, not Theramore. That's not Theramore.
Menethil.
That's not Theramore.
Menethil
Menethil.
Harbor.
Menethil Harbor.
Oh.
Yeah, Theramore is over there next to Duskwallow Marsh and is now greater.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Right.
Big G.
So yeah, but the whole Theramore thing, I think, is why Garrosh would have had the opportunity to just destroy the opposing factions.
So let's be clear. The Azerite push, I think, would have pushed Garrosh that direction, regardless.
Oh,
if
yeah.
If Azerite wasn't involved at that point, maybe not.
He still probably would have.
I don't know, because
I just don't think she doesn't. She has an alternative method. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's being manipulated to get to that point through.
She wasn't intending to burn the tree down. That was a crack decision because she was gloating, and the elf that was there, the night elf that was there, it's like, you can't destroy hope. Our people are going to come back, and that pissed her off. So she's like, I can't. Fuck you. Burn the fucking tree. It wasn't the end goal. The end goal was to capture it, and for her, it was to force more conflict.
I'm willing to bet that the end goal was to kill as much as possible, and that just became an opportunity to pump some more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. But I don't think Garrosh would have necessarily done it because he killed that one orc that blew up the Druid Enclave or whatever out in Stone Talon. Those were innocents there. Just like...
Damn it, Garrosh.
Yeah, Garrosh was a warmonger. Had he not been corrupted by the Dark God heart, he probably would never have done something like that. To that scale. That included innocence.
Yeah, because he was even disgusted by Sylvanas, wasn't he?
Well,
Silver
Pine, yeah. When she was raising the dead, he's like, yeah, you stop that shit right now. Leave the dead kind of thing.
Straight up called her a bitch, too.
He did, yeah. That was pretty fucking hardcore. He just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He was like...
But he was disgusted the way that things were... I mean, not to say that was right or wrong, but it gives in a little bit of his character and how much he...
Well, I think undead...
Because otherwise he would have... I mean, in his mind, it should have just been bodies to throw against the everlasting Horde versus Alliance.
I think that the undead disgusted him because of the society that he was raised in, where when you die, your spirit goes on, and you honor your ancestors and all that stuff. But if you're brought back to life, that disrupts that. So that, you know what I mean? It's like he's from a very tribal upbringing with that kind of stuff, and so I don't know if that's probably part of the reason why he's disgusted. And the fact that she was raising more undead, he found that to just be, just smacked in the face of everything.
So as soon as he got the Shadowlands, he was probably like, ew, 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 ew.
He's like, maybe Sylvanas is right, and we should have just raised everybody so they didn't have to come to this shithole.
That fucking bitch.
God damn.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, that was fun. I don't really have anything else. We haven't really had a lot of chance to play. It's been a busy week. So I think we'll go ahead and just call it quits there. Thanks, everybody, for listening to us just shoot the shit. Check us out at facebook.com/server-restart-in. You could always send us a tweet at server_restart. And talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.